Being a very heavy drinker affects every part of your life, including those times when you're supposed to be having a good time. Especially with me, it was holiday times, because I had a reasonably high pressure job in central London, and I used to think, wow, we'll go on holiday. And going on holiday for me, really, because I was a drinker, was an excuse or a reason to drink more. But when you've got a partner, they don't see it like that. Not a partner doesn't drink, which I had at the time. And I remember when we were in our early 20s, I went to Turkey. You're talking 40 years ago now. Turkey wasn't that developed then, really. And I used to drink lager, that sort of thing. And there wasn't much at this place we stayed at, to be fair. The hotel was nice, right on the beach, man. The only beer I had was Efes beer, which is quite strong. And something called raki, which I later found out was some sort of ouzo, like Greek ouzo. But no, I wasn't a spirit drinker. So my wife would obviously put up with me drinking a little bit, but I remember getting there and thinking, God, this is so cheap, this Efes. I was used to paying central London prices, you know, for drinking. And all I had was in this bar, it was like a trestle table, very underdeveloped where we were, and I had this big barrel of this Efes beer, and it was beautiful. But they would drink any drink's beautiful, isn't it? But I particularly liked it because it was lager. And I used to get a full session of it, like all day and all night. And we were there for 2 weeks. I'll never forget it because I said I was quite young at the time. I was already slipping into maybe heavy drinking at times then, especially in holidays. Then things were starting to fall apart in the marriage early, really, because maybe because of my drinking, maybe because of the reasons. But I remember going to the beach early one morning when she was still in bed, and the guy had this FS beer on the go, and I was so like out of it by about lunchtime, you know. I was going back to the hotel and I was sleeping it off, and I had to find a little shop house with some more supplies to have in the apartment and all this, or the hotel room or whatever. And I got to the stage where I was about a week into the holiday and all I was doing was drinking. I was in a total mess. I was thinking, when you got a week or so to get back to work, get sobered up, really. Anyway, this guy I met in the bar persuaded me to have this raki. Now, like I said, I would drink spirits of wine, but I did that time. I did try it. I tried it for one day. I've never ever felt so ill in all my life. And I woke up the next day completely dehydrated. So I drank lots of water and I felt ill again. I felt drunk again. And apparently, because if you add water to the effects of this dehydration, well, it's still in your system, this rocky stuff, then it can come out intoxicated again. Anyway, the whole day was spent being ill, basically, and I was drinking more to try and compensate for that, have massive withdrawals. And at that point, we decided to get separate rooms because it just was too much carry on. And one night I came in, because we weren't even speaking, came in quite late and I couldn't find the right room. I knocked on somebody else's door. They weren't too happy about that, and then the owners came in threatening to beat me up, all sorts of carry on. And the whole holiday was a disaster. To be fair, it was falling over. I didn't know what day it was. And as the holiday went on, she said, if you don't stop drinking, I'm just going to leave in Turkey. And I thought, well, she's not going to do that. She's not going to leave me in Turkey. So it's my usual thing, carrying on drinking. Feeling worse and worse and worse. Getting redder and redder. I was so suntanned. I got sunburnt, actually. It was quite bad. Because I was, a Brit abroad, really. I hadn't been abroad a lot when I was in my early 20s. And searing heat in Turkey, 45 degrees. I was like a lobster. So I looked ridiculous, as you can imagine. And full of drink as well. This must be the typical Brit abroad. We weren't used to many Brits then, 40 years ago. Not drinking to the quantity I was. Anyway, one day I went to knock on her room. There was no answer. So I checked with the reception, and she'd just gone. Left me completely. With a lot of my stuff. Only had one bank card left. And that was just about maxed. That was a credit card. Fortunately, she left my passport at the reception. So I had my passport. And I had like 3 days left before I get back. So when you're drinking, even when I was younger, I still got quite anxious with the withdrawals, you know, I was thinking, well, how am I going to get home? I'm getting into trouble here and all this sort of thing. Because it wasn't like going there nowadays when it's all pretty much geared up for tourism, that sort of thing. So I felt completely stranded around my parents up and all this sort of thing. They weren't interested. Well, it was just get yourself sober, get yourself back home type thing. But I was in a total mess even then, you know. And I'll never forget it. I felt so alone and so isolated, being just left on my own. And I felt quite frightened, to be fair. And I thought, this drink's getting to me already. You know, that should have been an early warning sign for me, really. Anyway, I managed to get back. I had to. I couldn't use the credit card because it was maxed out. I had to ring up somebody, well, from I think it was Barleycorn or something like that, and try and get an extension on my limit. Managed to get a flight. It was a bit of a carry on getting, because it was still Turkish lira now, wasn't it? Taxi from where we were to this airport. I can't remember which airport. Maybe Dalman or somewhere. And I had a few scratches and cuts and bruises on me and all that sort of thing. And in the end, I managed to get back and then patch things up a little bit with the marriage. But the feeling of being left alone, the feeling of the anxiety I had, and the feeling of, you know, being out of control again, even when I was younger, when I think back, there was massive warning signs then, you know. If you've got any of these things coming up, you've got to watch out for them, because all I was doing on holiday really was drinking. And I used to work pretty hard, and I used to plan these holidays just so I could drink, really. There was no, like, sightseeing going on. There was no, go there because I want to go and see this or I want to do that. It was just really get away from London, get away from work, and just drink. What sort of life is that for people, you know? A young man doing that. And it'll catch up with you. And I was always hard back that holiday and think, anything could happen to me in Turkey. Anything. You know, I'm 6'4" and could handle myself. You don't know what's going on, do you? I was out of control then with that racky stuff, and I vowed never again to drink any spirits or wine. I didn't. And various people get themselves in a mess, don't they? People have accidents, they do stupid things, they buy stupid things, they, you know, black out, they find themselves in all sorts of compromising positions, as it were, in places and in a mess. They get robbed. They go and see women of ill repute and men of ill repute as well. People can get waylaid, easily led. My mother's always said you're easily led, and you get into a mess with it because you've got to keep it under control. Well, to try and summarise it really here, when alcohol gets you out of control, then it's time to stop. You know, it goes beyond the fun time. It goes to the point where it's controlling you when you're not controlling it. And if you look back, if you're a heavy drinker, there'll be lots of times you've been quite lucky with it and you haven't come to any harm. But some people do come to harm, whether it's physically or mentally or because of crime or this sort of thing. You've got to be in control of it. You can control your drinking, then you're all right. When it's out of control and you need the hair of the dog or you're feeling rough all the time, then that's not good. Then you know you've got problems, you know you're in a mess, and you know you can't control things. And that is a really dangerous time. And that's the time to step up and say, hang on a minute, this has got to be sorted and you need some help. Get an appointment with a doctor, get some help from any support groups you can get a hold of. You know, contact myself or other people doing similar things on these channels, on the channel, and get yourself pulled together, as it were, because it catches up with you very soon. You've only got one life, and it's flown by for me. Really has flown by. I've had a lot of good times in my life, but I've had a hell of a lot of bad times, and all the bad times I can put down to too much drink. All the negatives of too much drink. You've really got to get out of it, and you've got to push yourself forward, and you've got to look at it one day at a time. That's the only way you can do it. You've got to make yourself a better person, a better life, and there's so many positives to not drinking, and there's no positives to drinking. It's all negative. You know, if you keep drinking, you'll die young. It's as simple as that. If you stop drinking, you've got a better chance. That's the way it goes, isn't it? I'm not saying everybody who stops drinking is going to live to 100, because that's impossible. But what I'm saying is give yourself a chance, even things in moderation. But to get to the point where I was, and other millions of people around the world are getting to now, and especially in the UK, problem drinking, dangerous drinking, is just not worth it. It's not worth the time, the effort, the money, and all the rest of it, because you'll fall foul of it, and it will take your life in the end. That's all they're going to do. You're pouring poison at you, down your throat, and you're putting poison in your body every day. What's the point? You know, it's not that difficult to stop, unless you're medically dependent, and even then you can get some help, hopefully. If you push it, I wish I'd push the doctors more, in the end I got help, but I was really ill then. So if you've got any major symptoms, get in touch with docs, and even just start to taper down, cut down. That's the best way. But don't just stop suddenly if you're dependent or you're a very heavy drinker, because that'd be very dangerous. However, if you enjoy the video or benefit from the video, then please subscribe, share it, and I've got an ebook out. I'll put the link in the description. And if you've got any subjects you want me to cover, then drop me a line. Speak soon.